Have you heard this myth that strong women are intimidating to men? Well, I'm here to debunk this myth today, so I'm happy you're here to join me. My name is Allison. I am a femininity mentor, and I hear this quite often that strong women are intimidating to men. And I do not believe this at all. I do not believe that a masculine man can be intimidated by a woman. If she's masculinized, meaning hyper independent, she can do everything on her own, she doesn't need a man, then that is something else. It's not intimidating, it's just repelling. So this is going to be some tough love for some of you out there today. But I want it to be helpful. I want this video to help you understand that you can be independent, you can be strong, you can be successful, you can make a lot of money, you can be really good at what you do, you can be really extroverted and outgoing, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be intimidating to a man. Now, some women have actually told me that men tell them that they're intimidated by them. But a masculine man, again, a masculine man cannot be intimidated by a woman. A passive man, a weak man, a man with insecurities might have an experience of intimidation. But that's another problem. That's a deeper problem. That's his problem that he needs to work on to resolve that insecurity or whatever that is. Today, I want to go a little bit into detail about the truth about masculine men and what they desire in a woman, and why the intimidating women are not finding high value men, masculine men that they desire to be with. It's because they are not exuding the feminine qualities that a masculine man is looking for. So it is quite common that a woman who is really outgoing and go-getter and can do everything on her own, it is common that she'll end up dating men who are more on the passive side. And this is what is known as inverted polarity. And if she really wants to be with a masculine man, my guidance to her would be to be successful, be amazing at what you do, but learn feminine communication skills. And those skills are going to help you to be more vulnerable and more soft, because as I said earlier, a high value masculine man is looking for qualities in a woman that he doesn't have. He doesn't need to be with a woman who is perfectly capable of solving all her problems and getting everything done and paying for everything on her own and doing everything on her own. I mean, a man wants to feel needed. So if you can do everything on your own, that's great, but why not allow a man into your life, into your world, through your vulnerable feelings, through your soft, radiant, nurturing, beautiful heart, and allow him to take care of you a little bit, because that's what he's looking for. He's looking for that precious, beautiful, radiant femininity, that receptivity, so that he can tend to that, care for that, and give to you. Men love to give. How can a man give to you when you're so busy giving to yourself, doing everything on your own, solving all of your own problems? So the biggest piece of guidance I would give you, if you are one of these many women who says that men are intimidated by her, the very first piece of guidance that I want to share with you is to get used to feeling what you're feeling in your body. Let yourself feel your feelings, because a lot of times these intimidating women are cold, very cold. They're not connected to the warmth of their hearts because they're not connected to their bodies. They're really in their heads. They're really highly intellectual women, which is amazing and wonderful. And I would never want a woman to not be her wise, intellectual, amazing self. But it is very important to access the softer side, the more vulnerable, open, feeling side. Share your feelings in a feminine way where you're not telling your man what you think about everything, analyzing everything, judging him. There are subtle forms of judgment as well, and we'll get into that in another video, but being open, asking questions, being curious, not leading him to have your exact same perspective on everything or likes and dislikes, letting him teach you something. This is the very, 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 very first step that I would guide you with. If you were working with me, we would be talking about your feelings. How do you access that vulnerable part of you at appropriate moments? And another thing that I help my clients with is sharing the vulnerable feeling underneath the judgment or the blame. And there's many ways you can do that, but the easiest way is to let yourself feel the judgment. Like, let's say you're frustrated with your guy, he's running late or something, and you're taking it personally, like he doesn't care about you or you're not a priority to him. So when he gets there, you're already, in your mind, you're like, I don't even need this guy to take me out. I can take myself out. That is not activating. You're not going to be activating a man's desire to devote himself to you, especially if you throw the judgment in of your bad boyfriend. Like, you can't even show up on time. You don't even have time management skills at the level of expectation that I deserve. But inside, all you're really feeling is that you're not a priority to him, but all he's seeing is your frustration. So my guidance to you is to really let yourself feel the feelings of that trigger. I don't like to use that word that much, but it is a trigger of your ego, maybe a little bit, or it could just be like, for me, my dad was always late picking me up. My parents were divorced, and I didn't feel cared for. I felt rejection in those moments because it happened all the time, and he'd be like 2 hours late. So if you have a past like that with a father like that, of course you're going to feel sad, or it's going to hit a nerve within you that goes back to that time when you were a little girl and your dad was always late picking you up, and to you it meant that you weren't important to him. So to soften yourself and release some of that judgment and that cold personality that, to a lot of men, they might call that intimidating. Really what it is coldness and bitterness and fear and a wall. This is what I mean by this masculinized woman. She has created this wall to protect herself, and not only does she tell herself that she doesn't need a man because she's already protecting herself, she's also just not open, and the man can't access that part of her, that the soft part, the vulnerable part, the sad part, So her words, her language that she chooses is going to have judgment and blame. And so that's my very first homework assignment for you, is to practice feeling what's actually underneath that judgment and that blame. And if you can, first try to give yourself the nourishment and nurturing and love that you need in that moment. But if you can, you share that with your man, and you share it as a story. Like, when I sit here watching the clock tick away and you're 30 minutes late, I am really struggling with judging you, and I have a story also that I'm not worthy of being appreciated and picked up at the time that we've set. And you don't want to say this in a way that's leading him to change. You really truly need to just share this because it's what you're feeling, and it's a way for him to understand you, and a way to connect, to have a deeper understanding. But you're also honoring yourself, right? It's so honoring to share your value of timeliness, if that is a value of yours. And maybe you two have different personalities, and maybe he is the kind of guy that has difficulties with time management. You can only share your feelings about that. You cannot try to change him, because another characteristic of an intimidating woman is a woman who's trying to change her man all the time. You can't do that. You can only share your feelings and let him judge himself and let him decide if time management needs to be more of a priority for him, for his self-value and level of excellence and the kind of man that he wants to be. He's going to be the one to judge himself and make that shift. But if you stay silent, which is the opposite of being, attacking him and being judgmental and sometimes even cruel, the opposite side of that coin would be to stay silent. You don't want to do that either. Neither of those options honors yourself, and both are very disrespectful to him. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have a friend that might be blessed by it, please send it to her, and I would love to receive a comment from you. What was your biggest takeaway? And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.